And there you go. We're back now with Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham. And Mr. Chairman, let me ask you about what Barr said this week. There was spying on the campaign. Where does this go now?
Well, we're going to find out whether or not there was legal authority to get a FISA warrant against Carter Page, who is associated with the Trump campaign. By definition, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act allows our government to spy on people we think that are working with foreign governments. The question was there any legitimate reason to believe that? If the warrant was issued on a dossier that's a bunch of garbage, the answer would be no. Most importantly, how could a counterintelligence investigation be opened up against the Trump campaign? Congress never hear about it. Was there a legitimate reason to open up a counterintelligence investigation against the Trump campaign, which is spying? And why was President Trump never informed of the fact that people working for him, our government suspected of working with the Russians, because the purpose of a counterintelligence investigation is to protect the people being targeted by a foreign government. But what happened after the election is equally important to me. The counterintelligence investigation continued on the transition team. That's how General Flynn got in trouble. What basis did the government have to follow the Trump transition team? How did it get leaked out to the public that there was a counterintelligence investigation going on against General Flynn while he was in transition? Leaking this information after the election is just as important to me as spying before the election.
Yeah, and there were two really important things that came out last week that Barr suggested. Number one, that it wasn't just this small cabal of people at the top of the FBI,
right,
but there was information going through lots of different intel agencies, the State Department, the CIA. That's one thing I'd like to get your reaction on as well, Senator.
Well, how wide was the problem? How deep was it? And what was the basis of it? Why was the United Nations unmasking people, American citizens caught up in conversations? Was there any legitimacy at all to Papadopoulos working with the Russians, or did they plant that idea in his head about the Clinton email being in the hands of the Russians? Did it come from him working with the Russians or somebody working with us? At the end of the day, was there any reason to believe that Carter Page was working with the Russians, or was it all based on a dossier that's a bunch of garbage? And in transition, as the Trump team is trying to take over the government, why was the counterintelligence investigation still ongoing? Who leaked the fact that there was one to the Washington Post? Who dimed out all these people that were in transition to the media? That's a violation of the law. And was there an attempt to invoke the 25th Amendment after the election? Democrats, if you're trying to get Trump, they really don't care how you're trying to get him. I really do care about the rule of law. Most Democrats don't care about this because they thought it was a worthy endeavor to try to take Trump down. So I'm hoping some Democrats will change their tune, because if you can do this to a Republican, one day you can do it to a Democrat.
Yeah, I think this is a really important point that you're making. It feels like a Kavanaugh moment, Senator, where the Democrats and the media just threw out all of what we deem as so valuable and important as Americans in a free democracy, that is due process. Innocent until proven guilty. Here we go again as they try to rip down Attorney General Bill Barr.
Well, you know, they accuse Trump of changing all the rules in Washington. I would suggest that all the rules have been changed to get Trump. Kavanaugh's nominee was not presumed innocent because he was a conservative. The way they treated Brett Kavanaugh was to try to destroy his life and drive him out of wanting the job, hoping he would quit. They're attacking Bill Barr now, one of the most seasoned, highly respected legal minds in the United States. Nothing's changed about Bill Barr since he was Attorney General under Bush 41. The only thing that's changed is the desire to get Trump, no matter how you have to get him. So if you need to destroy Barr, they will. If you need to destroy Kavanaugh, they will. If you need to make up stories to get a warrant, they will. If you need to open up a counterintelligence investigation based on bogus information to try to get into the Trump campaign, to find out what he's up to create an insurance policy. I think they will. There was nothing they wouldn't do to get Trump.
Yeah.
And America needs to understand this can happen to both parties. Let's hold them accountable and stop it now.
Yeah, and I know that you're going to do a deep dive on your investigation, so we'll check back in with you on that.